I did wear it. I remember going for Juma prayer in the London Mosque, and I'd have a dress with like, short arms and a scarf around my neck, and just when I'd get to the mosque I'd put it over my head and that sort of thing, and then take it off when I came out again. It was good because it always got you a seat on the bus, so that was really good. Then I came back to New Zealand and, you know, I saw my family in Wellington, and then I came to Auckland. I started working, and then it was actually, I was involved in a converts group in Auckland back then as well, and there was a lady, she used to work for the BBC, but she was then working for Islamic television station in Malaysia, and she'd come to New Zealand, and I was meeting her for lunch at one of the hotels she was staying at, and so I had my scarf with me, but I wasn't actually wearing it at work, so I thought, okay, well, I'll have to wear my scarf to go and meet her. So you know, I put it on, and you know, I said, okay, well, I'm going now. And when I actually got that job, it was actually 3 days after I'd actually started the job, my boss had to go away to Italy, and when he came back 2 weeks later, he bought me a bottle of wine, and I'm sure it was a very nice Italian bottle of wine, but I said, oh, sorry, actually, I don't drink because I'm Muslim. So, you know, that was okay with him. So I started wearing it, you know, working in the corporate world. I don't know. Obviously, it was a gradual thing, but I think it was quite soon that I felt comfortable with it. I mean, I was just working in a small office environment, so every day there wasn't a lot of contact with other people. But when we did go out, I was working in a forestry, so when we did go out to bigger events and that, you know, there was you know, people would say, oh, well, you got a Middle Eastern flavour today, or is this a new fashion accessory or something like that. And I was actually quite surprised because, you know, we had a lot to do with Malaysia and forestry over there, so I was quite surprised that some of the higher-ups that I would have thought would have been more aware of that side, that they actually didn't. When I came back to New Zealand, I then had my family to contend with. I was probably, I cheated a bit because I actually told my family I'd become Muslim when I was in England and they were here, and I didn't see them for another year, so they had a lot of time to get used to it, or whether they did in the end. I mean, for myself, before I went overseas, my idea of, well, Islam, an Arab person was someone with a gun, you know, because that's all I've been fed through the media. And that's all my parents' generation had seen, well, probably for like 10, you know, since 1950, 60, whatever, when TV came in. But I mean, for them it was hard because they just didn't understand. But obviously, since 9/11 and that, there has been, obviously, you know, a lot more adverse media and things, and so it has been a bit harder for them. But in the end, well, my father, he wants it to, you know, just wants us to be safe and happy and things like that. Well, there's certain things that I do miss. I mean, I miss like scuba diving and things. I mean, you know, inshallah, once my kids get older, we'll find a way around, you know, that and be able to do it. One big thing was, for me, was that probably a hangover from the Buddhism days was that I was vegetarian, so, you know, the halal meat thing wasn't a problem for me until after I got married, and I've actually reverted back to being a carnivore now. Things in New Zealand that worry me, New Zealand society, you know, we've got the highest teenage pregnancy rate, we've got the highest male suicide, teen male suicide rate, and that's really sad because that's the future of New Zealand, are these two groups, isn't it? So that's quite sad. And what Islam has to offer to the young people is structure, and I think they haven't had structure for a while. It has boundaries and has limits. You know, we've been given so much freedom in so many different ways that we sort of gone everywhere, and you know, now what's there type thing. So, you know, the limits and boundaries within family, within relationships, you know, within your family, you know, male-female relationships. You know, Allah has made us, He knows what's best for us. even if we don't want to admit that, then, you know, maybe we could look at those things. I mean, one of the first things I would say with New Zealand, and inshallah will happen, is that they, you know, raise their drinking age back to 20. The first step. The second step, to raise it to 100, you know, inshallah. For me, it was a journey from, you know, say when I was Christian in my early years and then through the teenage years. Okay, I started out Christian, and to me it's become a cycle through all those other religions back to God, which is the same God that Prophet Isa ﷺ worshipped in Abraham and Adam, etc. So Islam to me is a natural progression from, well, sorry, I'll say the teachings of Muhammad ﷺ is the next step from the teachings of Isa, which, you know, is not necessarily what Christians, you know, believe in today in their Bible. So everything for me actually wraps up really well, and that sort of spiritual side, and I'm sort of quite happy with that. I mean, I care about my children's future, and the future of, you know, New Zealand, because this is my country. And, you know, I still, when I'm at my daughter's assembly, whenever they play the national anthem, I don't know whether this is just for people that have been overseas for a while, but when the kids are singing the national anthem, I just, you know, get a few tears. And the other thing is about the New Zealand national anthem, I think is a very good Islamic national anthem, because the God of nations, alhamdulillah. So, you know, maybe it's a combination of those two that give me those feelings.
رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين